Hello, welcome to Movie Muster's Power Ghost2 Season 3 Episode 4. In the land of opportunity, one of these overzealous personalities will eventually succumb to their actions. It was only a matter of time. Death, Kevin Whitman. He was incredibly unpleasant, blatantly unethical, and kind of a jerk, but that does not mean he deserved to perish. And the finest way he could have died was at the hands of the girl he had been bothering on the common, which should have been a gut punch to him. Whitman certainly had a great deal of regret regarding their relationship as it existed prior to Carrie's passing, which is why he has been on the rampage ever since. He had a great deal of affection for Carrie at one point, but he hadn't been very kind to her before she died, so he made it his goal to exact revenge on her by any means necessary. And in doing so, he set himself up as a huge target for Monet, who has never shied away from killing someone who posed a threat to her or her family. Whitman's instincts had been neglected throughout his entire retaliation tour, which is how he ended up getting suspended. And he was unquestioningly believing Diana's sob story. Whitman has been the epitome of desperation, yet Diana just waltzed up to him and told him that Monet needed her to lie, and perhaps he's willing to provide him an almost too good to be true offer was Monet on a silver platter. They might have laughed in his face the moment he revealed that information to Jenny and Blanca had he not managed to have himself expelled from the RICO process power. He was always completely lost when it came to the Tejadas, and he demonstrated this situation by being so fixated that he never once stopped to consider that he might be getting the job done. Whitman bragged about being a cop the whole third season of Power Book 2, as though it rendered him impervious to harm. He should have known from all the research he had done on the Tejada family that they were capable of anything in order to guard themselves. Monet made the decision to kill him on her own. It was one of the simplest ways she could escape from him, especially given how close he was to putting things together. Diana's participation in the plan and her continued knowledge of it when it was dark worked in her favor as well, allowing her to carry it out smoothly and without opposition. Diana did her part well, even taking a much-needed swing at her mother. Ironically, Diana occupies that position within her family. Hence it is ironic that she began the series as an afterthought of a personality. She was the one who was always being told what to do, and when she finally rebelled, she let loose terrible family secrets and practices. She was finally rejected for it after making sure her family heard her voice. She is currently living independently and working to establish her independence. But it doesn't feel really real, does it? Hours before, Lorenzo was once more dropping off extra bricks for her to sell, and now Salim is in her ear asking her to promote without interrupting. Diana is placed in a position where she badly wants to live a life separate from her family but still feels a sense of loyalty to them. And if you live with a family like the Tejadas, you are either both in or you are out. She is also completely unaware of how close to collapse her family is currently experiencing. There was no strategy Lorenzo could use to escape detection with Zeke's homicide. Let's stay here now. Monet would always realize it was Lorenzo, whether Kane eventually fell or something else happened. When you think about it, nobody can get away with anything in the Power universe. Then what? She might try to connect all kinds of dots if she knew Lorenzo was, at the very least, in the hangar on the night Zeke died. She would be wise to start with Kane even though he could feel a little differently about his father now. I see a way for Lorenzo to save a lot of his life if she can get him to admit what he did. Maybe Monet will just want to send him away, far away. But there's more than that. There is a good likelihood that Monet kills the father of her children and sleeps soundly through the night. Whatever she decides to do with the information she learns about Lorenzo, her future actions will forever alter the dynamic of her family. Yet given the implications for so many individuals, it is certainly the most exciting narrative moving forward. Although Lorenzo and the Tejada children have very different connections, he is still their father. Monet moves in his direction, and she or he will probably lose her children forever. What does she then possess? Kane's energy journey has been amazing to see, and Lorenzo and Kane's friendship has been on thin ice for a while. He has always acted so arrogantly. He showed how much he still needs to learn by his decisions and the entire gun trade. It's crazy that Noma made the team sell guns on top of the medicine, but they also asked for it. They had to follow his lead exactly if they wanted to become the new Mecca. Kane never stopped to consider anything other than what was directly in front of him, despite the fact that the deal was always going to be bad. He fired Drew, put Braden up for sale, and then decided it was okay to hang around that motel even though someone might have been pursuing Braden all the way back to them. Kane has experience with this, but he lacks Lorenzo's level of expertise, who considers 5 steps ahead. He watched them with Drew and Gordo because he needed backup in case something went wrong, and he knew there was a chance it could go wrong. And it's a good thing he did, too, since they wouldn't have survived without them. At this point, I don't have many ideas about Lorenzo, but I will say that his desire to protect his family is perhaps what defines him the most. He really means it when he says household first, yet the majority of his acts seem to support it, despite the fact that he frequently puts the mentioned households in unquestionably hazardous situations. It seems like everything is what he thinks it is in his head for the better good. Diana marketing medication on a college campus that is now embroiled in a drug scandal. The greater good. Trying to hide Zeke's murder with his own hands. The greater good. You cannot deny that much of the danger his family is in, despite the fact that it is heartwarming to hear him care about them and his compulsive desire to protect them. Does this mean that Kane is letting Lorenzo in cost once more now that they are on speaking terms? I'm not sure why I'm even asking, since Lorenzo is already just lifeless meat. A child, maybe. Tariq is in the middle of a hell of a good stretch, watching his bank account grow larger and larger while we wait for the inevitable Tejada family drama while his relationship with Effie flourish. The decision Effie made to ultimately not tell Tariq what happened to Lauren will come back to bite her. Even yet, I can understand why she delayed telling him when Tariq showed her that she was receiving more attention and luxury than perhaps anyone else. To achieve where she is, Effie has worked really hard and done everything by herself. But now she has someone who wants the best for her and who helps and protects her. Is keeping this important secret from him egocentric? Duh. But given that she thinks Lauren is dead, I'd love to see how many people would completely change their lives. She believes that until Kane or Brayden speak, no one will ever know the truth. Although Effie wouldn't want anybody or anything, Tariq realizes how wonderful it is to be liked and accepted. She can't let go of that. At every turn, Tariq is pouring his heart out to Effie, completely involved in the two of them and their future. And I keep saying it, but it could be really terrible for him to learn that the two people he loves the most aren't being completely honest with him. Power Ghost has truly succeeded in doing the unthinkable by having me feel bad for Tariq in any way, shape, or form. But here I am. Tariq's upbringing wasn't entirely innocent, but Ghost did a lot to tarnish those years. Tariq is currently making every effort to re-establish some sort of a household for himself. When you think about that, especially when you realize how young Tariq is, it's actually pretty depressing. If it appears that I am supporting Tariq and all of the bad things he has done, I am not. But it is evidence of how compelling this collection is because it makes you feel such complex feelings for a character you once detested more than anything. Tariq is a terrible person, but he is also a person who has frequently been let down by those who were supposed to be watching over him. Can you condemn him while also feeling a great deal of sympathy for him? That is so you can decide. Power is supposed to be fun, right? Drama with a strong anti-law theme that features many violent scenes and compelling characters. But it also makes us question things, even ourselves, and that is what sets it apart from so many other television shows. When it is far more than that and always has been. Don't let anyone tell you it is meaningless entertainment about medicine and violence. Other information you should know. It was a wonderful moment for the two when Lorenzo intervened to save Kane, who has been nothing but a brat to him, and it was a great segue into their conversation in the van. But if Monet has anything to say, it might be their last. Sax is so close to learning about Lauren, and when he realizes Jenny has been lying to him, Petty Sax returns, which will probably be terrible for Ms. Sullivan. I completely overlooked how much beef Blanca and Sax have. I don't see them cooperating with one another in any way. There is almost too much harmful blood present. Why, therefore, did Jenny abandon Lauren in that huge house? Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.